You probably know the feeling. Sweaty, fast breathing, quick heart rate. That's a cortisol spike. It feels awful, and its imbalance is the cause of your anxiety. Rebalance Health's 3-part anxiety system helps address it at the root. Rebalance Health lozenges are natural and designed for optimal absorption, providing 24-hour relief. Live life fully without feeling like you're fighting for it. Get 50% off your first month with code CALM23 at rebalancehealth.com.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Join us as we seek the truth and travel the long road to justice. Hi, Alibiers. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi Fruit Loop. What you know?
Did you know that we detect taste faster than we can blink?
Really?
So it takes exactly 0.0015 seconds to detect taste, and that's quicker than 1/10 of a second a blink takes to complete.
Interesting. I always gave my kids lemons when they were little.
Yeah, and they made the funniest faces.
Speaking of little, my baby is turning 11 today, July 1st. So a big happy birthday to Sarah Rose.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
You were there.
Yeah.
You were there.
Loudest kid in the hospital. Yeah.
Everybody was in that waiting room, and you all came out in the hall when her daddy rolled her out.
Yep.
Just seems like yesterday. Amazing how fast time flies. We are going to have a very special day all about her.
Good deal.
So we are going to jump right back into it. We've got 2 pretty short blog posts on this one. Then we're back into that main timeline. There's some blog posts like 2 years later. But anyway, September 16th, 2015, Chab blogs, Writing the Great Gathering. Soon after Tammy and I established Spring Creek Book Company, I knew I needed to begin working on my Standing in Holy Places series. Remember, this is the series Lori was infatuated with. I sensed the first novel should be called The Great Gathering and should be set 10 to 15 years in the future. Frankly, I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel like the right time to release a novel about the decline and downfall of the United States. I put it off for a couple of years, focusing on other projects. The main problem I faced in 2005 was that writing about deplorable future conditions in America seemed ludicrous to even consider. People were building bigger houses, buying new cars, and loading up on their 0% interest credit cards. Seemingly, everybody was prospering. At that time, the Middle East was relatively calm after the execution of Saddam Hussein. The thought of a group like ISIS gaining power seemed highly unlikely. Russia and China were keeping low profiles, and the United States was seemingly in control of the world. I've saved an article from that era when President George W. Bush visited Wall Street and held the strong state of the economy. He went on to say, as we begin this new year, America's businesses and entrepreneurs are creating new jobs every day. Workers are making more money. Their paychecks are going further. Consumers are confident. Investors are optimistic. I continued to drag my feet on the novel, but my signal to devote my full attention to it came one morning when I traveled to San Pete County during the Manti pageant. Our company had a booth there, and we sold our books to visitors. That morning, I passed the McDonald's restaurant on the south end of, Lord have mercy, Ephraim, and soon could see the Manti Temple in the distance. There were miles of empty fields to the west.
Then it was like I was suddenly in a different time. I saw thousands of tents in those fields. They were clearly organized into blocks, and wide pathways passed between them. I saw hundreds of people outside the tents. Some were performing chores while others were walking toward the temple. They seemed calm and happy. Then I nearly swerved off the road, which brought me back to the present day. The fields were empty again, but I took it as a message that I needed to get working on the Great Gathering. The book's cover image of a young girl in a wheat field is similar to what I was shown that day. As I worked on the novel, I would have glimpses of the Oval Office, but I would only see the back of the U.S. president's chair. I never saw his face. but I heard his eloquent speaking cadence and the phrases he used. The U.S. president in the book does not sound like President George W. Bush. Maybe that president still hasn't taken office, but when you read the quotes in the novel, I think you'll agree it sounds like our current president. It was strange to write about President Gordon B. Hinckley's funeral in the opening segment. Readers rushed right past that part now, but when I wrote that, he was still a vibrant, healthy man. He didn't pass away until long after the novel had been released. I suppose I know how the writers of the movie Back to the Future 2 must have felt as they tried to accurately portray what life would be like in 2015. When they sent Marty McFly, oh, here we go. This is where he's getting his stuff.
Still no hoverboards, I might add.
Yeah. Marty McFly and Doc Brown into the future. They were incorrect on a few things. Flying cars, fax machines still being essential, the movie Jaws 19, and so on. But at least they had fun with it. That's what I attempted to do with the sport called Conquest in the book. I did see the traditional major sports leagues shutting down, but violent sports continue to thrive. We see the sports world heading in that direction as the top mixed martial arts events now often overshadow traditional sports.
The most challenging part for me was writing about the upcoming foreign invasion of America. I've been shown several different snippets of destruction and terror in bigger U.S. cities, and then the invaders began moving inland. I did specifically see the scene where the tanks go into Spanish Fort Canyon only to have their path blocked. It helped me realize the Saints in Manti and the camps near Soldier Summit would be protected. I didn't feel I could write extensively about the invasion, though, because I had been shown many specific details. The military scenes I saw were mainly a montage of vehicles rolling through large cities and then rapidly spreading across the country. My dad helped edit the book and pointed out that it seemed like I was rushing through that part. We talked about expanding it, but that was the night the Spirit told me that's enough for now. A time will come when you can write about it with greater clarity. I had no idea what that answer meant, but it has been fulfilled in my new Times of Turmoil series. The 3 volumes all take place in the same time frame as the Great Gathering. I've been able to slow down the pace and better explain how the United Nations and the invading armies will work together.
The Great Gathering actually sold really well right from the start, and when the Great Recession hit in 2008, many readers wondered if the things I described in my book were already starting to happen. I knew we were still several years away, though, because one of the key parts of the book involves the government encouraging human microchip implants. Even today, some people will scoff at such a notion, but at least the technology exists now. I was relieved when both Julie Rowe and Hector Sosa mentioned seeing similar scenes involving the chip. There is one event I was shown that isn't in the book, but goes along with this topic. Soon after I had my near-death experience in 1993, I was driving south along I-15 in Orem, Utah. I looked to the right and saw the dozens of buildings comprising Geneva Steel where my father worked. Then the scene changed, similar to what had happened to me on the road near Manti. I suddenly had an unobstructed view all the way to Utah Lake. Geneva Steel smokestacks and large buildings were gone, and it looked like there were new subdivisions built on the land. I was told by the Spirit that this transformation would happen before the major natural disasters hit Utah County. This actually came as a welcome vision because I couldn't imagine that scene happening for several years or even for a few decades. Geneva Steel was doing well at the time, and even if it did shut down, it would take a monumental effort to clear away all of the buildings and equipment. That didn't include the challenge of removing all of the hazardous materials to make the area habitable again. I just couldn't see any company or even the government spending the time and effort to do that.
Well, by the year 1999, Geneva Steel was struggling, and it officially shut its doors in 2001. Within about 3 years, a deal was worked out for companies from China and India to buy most of the steel-making equipment. Other companies took care of the redevelopment of the land, and new homes and businesses are found there. I hope it never comes across in this blog that I want bad things to happen. I much prefer a calm, peaceful life and safe society. Oh, how ironic. But when I drive that same stretch of I-15 in Orem as I did in 1993, the land where Geneva Steel once stood now matches what I saw then. In the next post, I will share some ways I found to find joy in my daily life. I know troubles are coming, but marvelous events are also on the horizon. Now, here, he doesn't blog again until May 19th of 2017. We'll get to that later. We're going back to the timeline, guys. Around this time, after this last blog post, October 15th, 2015, Chad begins his job as editor of a newsletter titled Global Research Initiative, which is actually part of the forum called LDS AVOW, which is a voice of warning. At some point in 2016, Chad begins work as a sales executive at Falls Printing. So on February 1st, 2016, Lori puts her first picture on Instagram, and that is still active, by the way. Lori's handle is Lolo for Kauai. It's a picture of a stream in Hawaii, and the caption says, "Just a morning stroll in paradise." March 12th, 2016, it says the Gabby Show down here. Tylee sends out her last tweet, which was a retweet from the Gabby Show that said, "Someone help me. I can't stop being hungry," which kind of made me sad because, I know it was said that Lori's mom was really hard on her as a kid about her figure. And you kind of wonder if like Tylee was having some self-esteem issues. A lot of teenage girls do, but it just made me sad that that was her tweet. So Lori's friend from Hawaii, April Raymond, who I love, told Nancy Grace on her podcast that Lori always had a nanny, which for the most part was live-in for JJ while they were in Hawaii. And Charles helped a lot. Said he was super hands-on with JJ when he went to school. But April felt that handling JJ wasn't something that Lori could do by herself. And she said Lori kind of acted like a martyr when it came to JJ. And we've seen that. You think about it, my niece's drug baby, which just makes my skin crawl, or he has autism. It's almost like she used the things that were a challenge for JJ to make herself look like a saint for taking him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she also said that Charles would celebrate JJ's milestones and progress. But on the other hand, Lori really wouldn't. And she would say that Charles was reading too much into it. So she said Charles made a really big deal when JJ learned to recognize words or learned his ABCs. Now, one quick thing, when I was in Las Vegas and Nate Eaton had Kay and Larry on the stage, I can't remember. I think it was Larry who said that if you took like JJ into a pharmacy, he would just walk down the aisles and read all of the things as he would walk down.
Yeah.
It's not like JJ didn't have abilities.
Yeah.
My little nephew who's 8, who is autistic, he reads better than my teenagers, I think. Mm-hmm. They adapt. They find they may have
kids are amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
And we've spent so much time, when we worked in education with autistic kids, you really do see that they may struggle here, but then here they're like off the charts amazing.
Yeah, but what kid doesn't want to hear praise,
Right.
from their parents about doing something right?
And it's so puzzling to me why she wouldn't celebrate those little things, because when you have an obstacle to overcome and that kid overcomes it, I mean, that's a huge deal. Why would you minimize that? I don't know. It's so weird to me. So you go from here.
So now it's time to feature our 2 paid sponsors for the week. What is the first one?
The first one is EVERLYWELL. Summer days mean longer days, better outdoor activities, and more ways to get healthier, including checking in on your health and wellness. With EVERLYWELL, you can take action today by taking one of their at-home lab tests or by adding their vitamins and supplements into your daily routine.
So EVERLYWELL is digital healthcare designed for you. And I actually got my test results in today on my food sensitivity test. And I did not have a high reactivity to any food, but I had a mild reactivity to 5 different things: cow's milk, chicken, egg white, rye, and wheat. And I've enjoyed looking into the details of my results. The results were sent in an easy-to-read format, and there were tips to follow based on the results. I look forward to learning more and talking to my doctor about my results.
All right, so you listeners, you can do this too. And here's how it works. EVERLYWELL ships products straight to you with everything needed in one package. To take your at-home test, simply collect your sample and use the included prepaid shipping label to mail your test back to a certified lab. Your physician-reviewed results get sent to your phone or device in just a couple of days.
It's also simple and easy to use.
All right. And for listeners of the show, EVERLYWELL is offering a special discount of 20% off an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/whattheworld. That's everlywell.com/whattheworld for 20% off your next at-home lab test. everlywell.com/whattheworld. What's next, Fruit Loop?
Our next partner has a product that I use every day. I started taking AG1. I wanted to focus on bettering my overall health.
So along with that, Athletic Greens supports better sleep quality and recovery and supports mental clarity and alertness.
I've been using AG1 over the past couple of weeks now, and I'm glad that I have. It's a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do every single day to take better care of yourself.
And it costs less than $3 a day, and it's an amazing investment for your health.
I mean, it's exactly right. So you're truly investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance. My health routine means a lot to me, and AG1 has become a partner in my healthy choices. I feel that by taking AG1, I'm choosing a better me and an overall better health. The special blend of 75 fantastic ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/whattheworld. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/whattheworld to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
All right, back to the timeline. Keep going there, Fruit Loop.
We are jumping back into April 25th, 2016. Lori posts a picture. Sorry, it's a picture of Melanie.
You're having a moment.
I know, right? I feel like I didn't breathe in between that last.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
Yeah. So a picture of Melanie on Instagram with the caption, "My beautiful girl turned 27 today. She is my hero in every way. When growing up, I wanted to be just like Melly. Beautiful, intelligent, strong, and funny. Happy birthday, baby girl." It's weird that Lori's older than her, right?
Yeah. Look, I think Melanie's had a really traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything other than that, but when you hear that story that her dad tells about her tucking that note into her mom's hand as she lays there dying, and that was the last time she saw her.
Yeah.
That was, can't imagine at 9.
Yeah.
Tough.
So June 16th, Alex is seen on YouTube doing a Looney Tunes impression. June 18th, 2016, Tylee posts her first photo on an Instagram account named Tylee Photography. It's a beautiful picture of a sunset on a Hawaiian beach. She captions it "Black Sand Beaches." July 8th, 2016, Tylee uploads the only other photo on that Instagram account of someone. And it's a silhouette possibly of her, right?
Yeah, it was. I really tried to mess around with the contrast, but that sunlight was just too bright, and I couldn't tell. It could have been her, could have been Lori. I think it's Tylee, though.
She captioned it "Hanalei Days" with a sun and surfer emoji. So July 20th, 2016.
This is petty of me to put this in, but come on, guys.
So we know Lori gets a traffic ticket in Hawaii for using her cell phone while driving.
She did.
Shame.
Mm-hmm.
September 24, 2016, Lori wishes Tylee a happy birthday on Instagram. There's a cute close-up photo of Tylee. The message was, "Happy birthday to my little girl who is all grown up. Your mommy loves you so much," with a bunch of heart emojis. December 28, 2016, one of the mobile juice bars is dissolved by Lori, and the other two are dissolved in 2018. Also in December 2016, Tylee is listed as being on the honor roll in school.
So remember the mobile juice bar, we learned in a few episodes back that was a little sore spot with Melanie, because apparently her and Brandon had went into business with them on this, and it wasn't successful, obviously. It's really hard to get an exact date of when they moved back to Arizona from Hawaii, but the best I can come up with is late 16 to early 2017. Clearly, with Tylee being on the honor roll in December, it makes me think it was after the new year. And on an episode of Dateline, April Raymond said she noticed a change in Lori and Charles's relationship. April said she thought Lori felt kind of superior religiously to Charles and that he wasn't on her level spiritually. She said Lori wanted a partner who was on her own spiritual level. So you can kind of see that kind of I'm better than you. We know that Charles converted to LDS. I believe he was Catholic. So anyways, February 8th, 2017, Tylee enrolls at Desert Ridge High School in Gilbert. March 23rd, 2017, Tylee leaves Desert Ridge High School. March 7th, 2017, Chad writes on his blog about his book, Reclaiming Liberty. And he said, as I explained several months ago, 2 key events must happen before it's released: the U.S. presidential election and a major earthquake in the western United States. 1 down, 1 to go. The specific details of the earthquake are essential to the backstories of some new characters, so I must wait before releasing the book. If the earthquake doesn't come for a while, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. Meanwhile, I have felt prompted to release a short autobiography entitled Living on the Edge of Heaven that discusses my 2 near-death experiences and my interactions with relatives on the other side of the veil. I hope you'll find the book to be interesting and enlightening. More details to come soon. So we're still in 2017, March 28th. Tylee enrolls at Perry High School, which is in Chandler, Arizona. April 9th, 2017, Lori posts a picture of Colby on Instagram with the caption, "The most beautiful birthday boy ever. Your mama loves you." May 19th, 2017, Chad updates his blog and titles it Living on the Edge of Heaven and says when Chad Daybell was 17 years old, he had a near-death experience while cliff jumping. He crossed into another dimension and realized there was a world beyond this one. A second near-death experience in his early 20s was much more in depth. And we went through all that where we talk about that veil is being torn.
Yep. So Chad has since become a noted author and publisher, and he's particularly well known for his futuristic LDS novels that are based on what he has been shown. He has also helped several people publish books about their own near-death experiences. As you read his experiences, you'll realize that we're all part of an eternal family. We each have ancestors in the spirit world who deeply care about our spiritual progress and seek to assist us in our daily lives. Chad has shared portions of his inspiring story over the years in blogs, interviews, and fireside talks. But now he has assembled them into one volume that will uplift and entertain you. His experiences demonstrate how close to heaven we truly are. So that same day he blogs, "It's here. My autobiography is now available." I read it. It focuses on the spiritual experiences I've had throughout my life, including my 2 near. How many times is he going to talk about his 2
Dude, that's like the whole point of all this. That's when he got his veil all torn up.
Yeah. If you have read my novels, it will give you greater insight into why I wrote them, why I published books by authors who have had similar experiences. I hope you enjoy it. This is my last personal blog post this is his last blog post that we can find.
Yeah. And so, one thing too is it's been said even by some family members that Chad and Lori could have met as early as June 7th, 2017. We don't know for sure. But we do know that this is the summer that Chad and Melanie Gibb met in Ogden, Utah.
Yeah.
He was giving a speech about his visions and his dreams.
Yep. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
So July 2017, 2 years to the day that Charles would be murdered. Charles and Lori are emailing in a school in Texas about JJ attending. And there's also emails to and from his school in Arizona about the transfer process. When you have a kid with an IEP, which is like an individualized educational program, it's like they totally find every little thing they need to work on. And then there's progress throughout the year. The email is signed by Lori and Charles. So December 7th.
Basically, too, how the school is going to provide him services.
Right. And then they identify the areas of need that, like, whether it be language or fine motor skills, they set up goals. Then you have these quarterly meetings. So that's kind of how that goes. December 7th, 2017 through January or February, we're not sure. Charles inquires about getting JJ a service dog. and a golden doodle is recommended. When JJ gets Bailey, he slept through the night for the first time in a very long time. And this was beneficial because JJ had a tendency to wander off, and Bailey would alert Charles or Lori if he did. I know they had to have locks on the outside of his door, I believe. And that's typical sometimes with kids with autism. They will get up and wander around.
Yeah.
So January of 2018 is when Colby gets married to Kelsey in Lori and Charles's backyard. There was some debate about whether Tylee was there. She was there. I just think she wasn't there when pictures were made or something like that. Colby said at this point, everything was totally normal and everybody was happy. And he told Justin Lum from Fox 10 that Charles and Lori would have normal arguments, but overall, they had a good relationship at this point. Now, Colby also told Dateline that when he married Kelsey, it became a competition with Lori. And Keith Morrison asked him if she treated him more like a boyfriend than a son, and Colby said 100%. So the next big thing before we finish is Melanie Gibb becomes Zulima's visiting teacher. Not sure what that means. But so you see here, we're kind of inching towards the end of the end of 2018. By the end of this year, everything would be in motion that will get us to where we are today. And it's a wild ride, guys. So next week is the week of the 4th. I'm going to the beach house. So what we've decided to do, we haven't really taken much time off from this podcast. So we're going to re-release some of the Wagner episodes, the Pike County Massacre, where the family of 8 was murdered in one night by the family of 4. Now, the reason we're going to re-release these is because we have 2 family members that have pled guilty. So they're going to testify against one of the brothers, George Wagner IV. That is going to trial in August, and we are going to cover that trial. I'm intrigued with this case.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I watched a panel with Joseph Scott Morgan and the 2 hosts of the Pike County Massacre podcast, and it just blew my mind. They're so smart when it comes to this case. But we're going to put that back out there. Now, here's the thing. We didn't have YouTube when we did this. So Fruit Loop's going to work on a graphic to accompany that podcast for YouTube. And then Friday, we should have a regular episode. We'll pick right back up here on April 3rd, 2018, which is the day Joe Ryan's found dead in his apartment.
Yep.
So in the meantime, you guys have a very happy and safe week of the 4th. And we'll be back with you a week from today. Yep. And we appreciate you guys, and see you soon.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.